Hi, welcome to another edition of the Career Advice Series with me, Jimi Tewe. I'm your career specialist and your coach on this program. This is interesting in the second edition of this series, and I'm quite excited about what it is we're doing. I got great feedback from what we did last week. Last week we spoke a bit about the imposter syndrome, and that's a factor that happens, that affects a lot of people in the workplace where they are not as confident as they were before in being able to perform the role that they have. What do you do exactly? You want to make sure you go back and look for that video and watch that video. Well, today we're continuing. We got some feedback and we're looking at more career challenges that people face in the workplace, and that's what this is really all about. It's about, what are those challenges you face in the workplace that are causing career frustration, so that we're able to help you. You let us know about it, and then I'm able to respond to let you know what you need to do in that regard. I like to say it this way, that career frustration does not go, it grows, all right? So if you don't deal with it, it's going to deal with you. So what I'm here to do is identify those things that cause frustrations for you, and we're able to provide, from a professional point of view, advice on what exactly what you need to do. Again, if I've not spoken about the kind of challenges you face in the workplace, you might want to consider sending us a mail, sending me a mail at me@jimitewe.org. That's on the screen right now, all right? So that way I'm able to know what it is you are facing, and I'm able to address them on this series. So every Monday, Career Advice Series on this YouTube channel will come to you free of charge, but trust me, it's going to be very enlightening. Well, today I want to move ahead and talk about another challenge that a lot of people are facing, particularly at this time. I'm based in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, but it's not only in Nigeria, it's many locations around the world. It's career stagnation. What I mean by that is pretty simple. People are on the same level, the same role. They've done that for the last 3 to 4 to 5. I met somebody that's been on the same role for about 8 years, all right? And in reality, the desire for anyone in their careers is that they make progress. They want to ensure that, every year there's some sort of promotion. Even if it's not every year, there's an increment in the salary. But I'm talking about people that have been on the same role, earning the same for a long while, no promotion in sight. And what I'm getting right now is the fact that many organizations are actually even stretching their promotion cycle. So it would not be uncommon to find where people could be promoted in a 1 to 2 year period, now being promoted after 5 years, okay? And these are the realities that are around. So today we want to try to address it. I will talk about career stagnation today, and the next episode also, which is going to be next week Monday, I will be talking about career stagnation, because again, it's quite huge. It's not something I think I can deal with in about 10 minutes, which is just the duration we usually use for these videos. All right, today I want to start by talking about what it is. Again, I've tried to define it, and in case you're going through it, don't be discouraged. There's always a solution to every problem. There are things you can do that can enable you to begin to make progress and move forward in spite of the things happening around you, okay? That's what I'm trying to address today. Now, I'm going to start by saying that in my own understanding, that there are 2 major factors that cause career stagnation. The first one is what I call the macro factors, and then you now have the micro factors, all right? So there are macro factors, things that are beyond you, all right, that actually impact people within organizations that they don't know about it. Interestingly, the macro factors, there's nothing you can really do about it because it's external to you. It's not something that is caused by you. Somebody says, oh, well, I've not made progress because I think I'm not the one, making the moves enough, I'm not networking enough. Yes, that might be a reality. But when the macro factors are affecting, then there's not much you can do. You have to find a way to adjust. So what I mean by macro factors that affect, that cause career stagnation, I'm going to use a marketing framework, essentially, that's going to help you, and that's the PESTEL framework. Now, the PESTEL framework is a simple framework that says that there are 6 things, all right, that can affect, in terms of marketing and all that. But I find out that, interestingly, they affect careers too. PESTEL speaks about political, economical, also the social cultural, and then lastly you also have technological, then you have the environmental, and lastly you have the legal, all right? So that's PESTEL: political, economic, social cultural, technological, environmental, and then legal, all right? Now, interestingly, all of these ones can affect the environment in which businesses operate, okay? And ultimately, it can now begin to affect career progression for working professionals. Now, let me throw a bit more light. So, look at the political terrain. Now, let's even go beyond Nigeria, where I'm based, all right? Look at Britain. We were talking about Brexit, right? So again, the UK, we are saying, okay, in the UK, we are exiting from the EU, okay? What does that mean? It means that, for example, some foreign-based organizations, right, that had headquarters in London are even considering maybe they want to move out of that that location. Now, if they do move, people that were in the head office might now become people that are in the branch office. Are we together? And what that does, or what that means by implication, is that the promotions that you used to experience before, where they had more visibility, because visibility is very important where promotion is concerned, a lot of that visibility is reduced, and therefore you might now begin to experience some level of stagnation, and that's political influence. What about economic? Come back home to Nigeria, right? We know what is going on right now. We know that we're moving from an oil-based economy to a diversified economy. And when we're talking about that, we're saying this, that, take, for example, those that were in the oil and gas industry that used to earn a lot. There was really no limit to promotions, to benefits. A lot of those things have been cut down. Promotions have also been streamlined to a very large extent, where it's going to be high merit-based, not regular, tenure-based promotion. So again, there's nothing the person has done did not affect the price of oil. Oil itself, has reduced, but it now begins to cause career stagnation. What about the sociocultural? Sociocultural speaks about things around demography, the wealth distribution, and all that. So you find out, for example, in Nigeria, we have about 60 to 70% youth, all right? And you now find out that the workforce is very young. And so what's going to begin to happen is that a lot of younger people will begin to come into the workforce, and the older people, whether we like it or not, will begin to get affected. So, as much as you are saying that, I've worked in this organization for 10, 12, 14 years, some other younger guy comes and is able to do the same things you're doing, and what's going to happen is that you're going to experience some stagnation, and eventually, if you're not careful, you're going to have the role being eliminated or you being redundant. Okay, that is the social cultural. Now, technological is very simple, right? Bring new technology, it disrupts things, and what that means is that your role that was the role, because it was probably process based, okay, is now affected such that technology is replacing it, and you're not able to experience the promotion that you were experiencing before. Of course, we're talking about environmental factors, okay, where you live, things around you. Those things in a way affect the business environment, and when it affects the business, you find some businesses, for example, have to relocate and all that. All of those kind of things affect bottom line. When it affects bottom line, it can actually lead to some degree of stagnation. And then lastly, you have the legal. If a company has a legal challenge or regulatory challenge, one way or the other, you find. I was talking to somebody this last week. I was out of town, and she was telling me about how some legal thing affected the business that she operates in. And right now, what has happened is that they are not even paying salaries. They can't afford to pay salaries any longer. What has she done? Is she not good any longer? She's excellent at the work she does. However, the business has been affected. So that's pestle. Now, these are macro factors. And let me say this again, there's really nothing much other than pray or what you can do about the macro factors. So what do you do when you find out that, for example, maybe I used to work in a company where it was politically driven, and maybe you had a relationship with somebody, the CEO had a relationship with somebody who was in government before, but right now, power has changed hands, like they say, okay? And what you're now having to deal with is the fact that now there's not as much business because it was government driven, but you are in that organization, you are still good, you have the skills, but for some reason you are not able to make progress. The company can promote you, the company can increase your salary, they can't add anything to you. What do you do in that regard? The first thing to do is to identify and be sure that you're affected, okay? Be very aware. One of the things I say about career success is your degree of awareness. It's important that you're very aware about what is going on in the organization. If your company is affected, don't fool yourself. Don't be hoping and praying that, somehow you are going to, move out and there's going to be a breakthrough and all that. Yes, you can believe for that, but you have to plan with realities, okay? So if you find out that maybe the role that you are in within the organization is no longer a prominent role, or the organization is not as prominent as before, you need to enjoy or move and transfer into some new roles. So what do you need to do in that regard, okay? I'll say this to you, look for the new growth areas. So if you're affected from an industry point of view, what are the other industries you can actually transit into such that you are able, your skills are still relevant, and then you can now find new opportunities there, okay? So talk about oil and gas, talk about banking and some other related industries that were driven by the oil-based economy, all right? You want to think about new industries, technology, agriculture, education, many other industries, the power sector and every one of them are new growth areas, and they represent new opportunities. So now also, before you think about external change, you want to consider internal change, all right? Maybe the function that you are in is not as relevant. Your business has had to re-strategize, and there are now new business units. So those are, again, new opportunities you want to consider exploring, all right? Why don't you think about moving function, moving those departments? Again, let me say this to you. More likely than not, you got into the first role. I want to do HR, I'm doing HR right now. But let me say this to you. I know somebody who used to be in the oil and gas sector, he's moved from HR. Today he's the CEO of one of the largest oil and gas companies in Nigeria. Nigeria, but what he had to do was he had to get more skills, business skills that positioned him for being able to lead in the business. So you want to consider those things. Again, what would enable you make a transition is what they call transferable skills. Transferable skills help you to move from one department to another, one organization to another, one industry to another, right? And there's several of them. I'm going to advise you to go on Google, check them out, or browse around them, and now begin to look at opportunities for development around you. Okay, so I've shared with you a simple template. Macro factors affect career progress and can lead to career stagnation. There's not much you can do about that. And you find out you are being affected by then, you want to consider making some transition, so that at the end of the day you don't have a stall in promotion and still in salaries. I mean, I've had many organizations, they've had to do selective salary increment where they're trying to retain their best staff, and generally they're not increasing salaries for everybody. Okay, inflation has increased. You want to make sure that those things don't negatively affect you. You are the one that is dictating what happens in your own career, right? Now, I've shared this with you today. I'm going to come back to you next week, and I'm going to talk about the micro factors, the things that have to do with you that can actually affect career progression that will lead to stagnation, right? Now remember, I'm ending right now. Remember that what you need to do is that if you have a career challenge, I would love to help you. All you need to do is to send me a mail. It's me@jimitewe.org. You can check it out on the screen. The email address is there. Send me an email, or you will get a response initially. And then what we'll do is that the common challenges we find, we're going to take those challenges and we're able to address them on the Career Advice Series, which is every Monday on this channel, the YouTube channel. You want to subscribe to this YouTube channel, that's Jimi Tewe, right? So that every week you get a notification, so that you can, follow through what is, what we're doing. Now, again, in case you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm not being affected by that. One thing I found out is that you always want to be armed for the future. The time to prepare for war is the time of peace, all right? You want to make sure that in case anything does happen in your career, because there's a lot of dynamism in the environment, you want to be sure that you're ready. Listen to what I've said, imbibe the knowledge that is there, and utilize it when and if the situation arises. Well, my name is Jimi Tewe, and I'm your career specialist. This is the Career Advice Series. Every Monday will come to you on this channel. You don't want to miss it. I want to ask that you tell your friends about it, all right? You can find me on social media platforms, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. My name is Jimi Tewe. I like to joke, I'm the only Jimi Tewe in the world, all right? But you want to get that and add me up, so that way you keep you updated. During the week, I will share a lot more information about how to achieve career success. It's my desire that you succeed. I know you will succeed, and I know that next week you'll be here again on this same station, so you can get more information on how to achieve career success. All right, have a wonderful week. God bless you.